After reading the narrative of the life of Frederick Douglass, an American slave, the book hit me in a very emotional way as an African American, or a Black American as I like to, call myself. I felt very hurt, melancholy. My stomach was in turns just reading how horribly he was beat just because of his race, just because he wanted to become educated. And it also created these aha moments where I connected Black Americans, enslaved Black Americans, past to our current future. One of those were the first impression when he spoke about his birthday, how he didn't know how old he was, and it wasn't acknowledged. In this current day, it's like an ongoing joke in the Black community that we celebrate our birthday for a long time. So if your birthday is on a Friday, you can be celebrating that Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. You might go on a vacation. You see memes where it says we're having jubilees. We don't have birthdays. We have extravaganzas. And so I think that's derived from being in a time where we weren't able to celebrate our birthdays. And at some point there was a shift and a click where we were able to, and we said, we're going to go all out. Another impression that I had that from the past that spoke to the present was the importance of family. When he spoke about how he did not have a lot of time with his mother, the only moments he had with his mother was at night, and they were separated before, she passed away. In the Black community, family is everything. There were a time where we were disconnected, and when you're disconnected from your family, if you ever had a fight with your family, it affects the way you're able to move, to live, to believe in yourself, the way you feel about yourself, the things that you believe are possible. All of that love is imperative to help you get there. And so now, I feel like sometimes it can be a detriment. It doesn't matter what your auntie did to you, what your sister did to you. Your family is saying it does not matter, because family is the most important thing. And that is a result of us not having that as electionally. Again, when there was that click and shift, when we were able to connect, it was instilled in us generation after generation after generation after generation after generation. Family is important. Generational trauma is what really came to my mind as I was reading this, the impressions I got of all the connections. And there was a lot of despair, a lot of sadness, a lot of book, or definitely by the end of the book, I did have a change of impression, because Frederick Douglass was an activist. He took all the information that he had to try to help other Black Americans, help other enslaved African Americans, and that created hope. He was able to change the way we saw ourselves, and that's just really the key to anything. You have to see it before you can believe it. I can honestly say I've never felt like a non-person. I do believe I came out of my mother's womb thinking that I am just as great as anyone else. I did go to a predominant. I've never felt like I was not a person. Maybe there were moments in my life where I felt insignificant, and if I had to choose, I would say being the youngest in a big family. I'm the youngest daughter. And if you are the youngest, you know what I'm talking about. There are times when you're a young person where nobody tells you anything about what's going on. Nobody cares about your opinion. If you speak your opinion does not matter. And in those moments, you can feel, well, I felt, you can feel invisible, even though it was probably the right thing to do to not provide me with certain information. It still created a feeling of I don't matter, as a young girl. And if I constantly felt that way, I would do pretty much what I did was I basically built myself up. I learned how to speak for myself at a very young age. My older sister said at one point I went from being mute to all of a sudden between 8 and 10. I started talking nonstop. I started validating my own feelings. I did not let anybody tell me how to feel. I did not let anybody tell me how to think. And another way to get to that point of confidence was identifying with someone like me, whether that was a character on TV, someone in a book, an auntie. I was able to use the images of those individuals that were relatable to me and help me build up my confidence, help me to be able to be outspoken and not pushed over. And I'm pretty much the star of the show, my family now, right? Something else that assisted in changing my impressions toward the end of the book was the message that Frederick Douglass was providing for African Americans. He really taught us the importance of education, that freedom is liberation for African Americans in this country. And it's we make sure our children in this different generation, we make sure that, you know, they're going to college, they're getting educated, and that is really the key